Good afternoon. I'm sitting here with Leo Lefebvre. Leo, thank you for accepting to meet with us. And let's skip to our first question. Could you speak to us about your journey in education?
Okay, I will start. Firstly, it's a pleasure for me to be here with you, Nicole. Let me start with my upbringing. I was born and raised in the West End of Sudbury. Attended St. Albert Catholic School, elementary school, and then went on to, and I was fortunate, attend Collège du Sacré-Cœur, Sacred Heart College in Sudbury, which is a school run by Jesuits. Jesuits are renowned for having much success in educating young people, and the less young as well. It's not just instruction, it's education with its full meaning. So I attended Sacred Heart College for several years because it was under the auspices of Université Laval University. And they had courses ranging from grade 9 to the end of the university. So I attended Élément Latin, which was a grade 9, and then did not do a grade 10, went on to grade 11, which in méthode, and then you had the versification and belles lettres, philo, rhétorique, philo 1, philo 2. So by the time I obtained my bachelor's degree, it had now become the responsibility of Laurentian University. So my BA was from Laurentian here in Sudbury. From then, it was my decision to go to the Ontario College of Education for 1 year to become a teacher. I had much facility in the languages, but I was well versed as well in math and sciences. I was fortunate to be able to succeed well in all of those courses. So I decided perhaps the best option for me was to attend the Ontario College of Education and become a teacher, a secondary school teacher, by the way. So I did attend the college for 1 year. And during that year, around the month of March, I was called upon to replace a teacher at Richmond Hill who was away from her classes because of a car accident. So they pulled me from classes and I taught 2 weeks there. So that gave me some experience other than the weeks that I had at Lawrence Park Collegiate on the one hand, Forest Hill Collegiate, which was quite an experience, very, very, how would I put it? People who are pushed hard by their parents to really move ahead in their studies. When I took a history class in that school, the teacher had a list of books that had to be read by the students, and we're at the end of November, and all of the students had read all the books. So that was something, Forest Hill Collegiate. So once I'd completed the College of Education, then it was my move to find a position, a job in Ontario. And those years, in 1963 actually, we went to the Park Plaza and they called it the cattle auction. They had thousands of positions advertised in the Globe and Mail. And teachers and prospective teachers would go to the Park Plaza and meet with principals and superintendents from all boards and looking for positions. And this is where I met Bill Roman, who became my first principal because he offered me a position at Garson Falconbridge Secondary School in Sudbury. In Garson, actually, which is now part of Greater Sudbury. At Garson Falconbridge, I taught for 3 years, taught French, Français, and Latin. And the students I had in Latin class were very special because it was an option, and the students were able to perform quite well. We had, in the third year I was at Garson, 2 provincial examinations in the grade 13 French, and that particular year there was grade 12 Latin that was considered to have final examinations from the province. And my classes of French, there were 35 students in each class, but everything went quite well. The marks that I had submitted to the ministry were exactly the marks that it ended up with. I did the tally of all the marks that I gave them, which counted for 60% of the year, and the marks that the Ministry of Education allocated after correcting and marking the exam, which was 40%. The variance was 0.0001, so I was right on with the marks.
Yes, you were.
And my little grade 12 class of 24 students, they ended up with an average of 84% on the final exam with the ministry. So that was, they were keen to learn, and I was there to feed them.
And you were a good teacher, because that's great success. The students learn. There's always a good teacher.
Yeah, I had good mentors. Let's say that helped quite a bit.
Oh.
Then after Garst-Falconbridge, I moved on to Chelmsford Valley District Consulate School for 3 years. I was major head of French and Français. And there as well, I taught Français particularly, and Latin up to grade 13. And in my grade 13 Latin class, I had 4 interior scholars. So we did the program for grade 13, and I think we did go beyond that as well. After Chelmsford, I went to North Bay as vice principal of École Secondaire Algonquin, which was a school of 1,200 students, and very actively involved in extracurricular activities. And that is important to me and to the school staff. That's where you get to know the teachers better, and teachers get to know the students better. And things worked out well. And in all the schools I've been involved with, the success rate for diplomas was very, very high. And I must say to you that even though the diploma rate was very high, the courses that we taught were demanding. They were not what we call bird courses, not at all. When I left Algonquin, I came back to Sudbury actually as vice principal of École Secondaire Franco-Jeunesse. Mm-hmm. And there the staff was, I had a staff of about 52, and there were about 750 students. And things worked out very well. I had a good staff and good people there, working hard, very demanding. We had extracurricular activity programs that were plentiful, worked out well. As I said, if a boy wants to come to school because he wants to play hockey, let him come. Once he's at school, we'll take care of him. If this girl wants to come to school because her boyfriend attends the school, let her come in. We'll take care of her once she gets in. And things worked out very well. We had high success rates at Franco Jeunesse as well. Now, in 1984, there was the possibility of some school closures because of enrollment and shifts in population. And as soon as I heard that, I had to make a choice, because I was the last one in. Yes. Because coming from North Bay, so my seniority in Sudbury was extremely low. Uh-huh. And what I did is I applied for a position as education officer at the Ministry of Education and didn't obtain it. I worked there for 10 months. In those months, I had the supervision of Wawa, Bishop-Cotton Board of Education, and Chapleau. In Wawa, I had the École Carrefour Supérieur Nord, which was a French language school within the setting of the English language school. What struck me one day was that there was a big storm during the winter. I happened to be there in Wawa. They canceled the school buses because of the inclement weather. To our surprise, we had 40 students who came from Dubreuilville among the 100 students at the school. They all showed up with snow machines. So they wanted to attend school, obviously, and that was good news to us. Oh. So I was principal of the principal's course during the summer for Francophone teachers. So that kept me quite busy all summer. And in the fall of that year, I applied and obtained a position as superintendent of French immersion with Sudbury Board of Education. a highly successful program. I was there for 3.5 years. We developed programs. I was able to obtain a board decision that the principals of the schools where we offered immersion had to have a working knowledge of French. So that was one of the components that I pushed quite hard for and was able to obtain it. At board meetings when we discussed budgets, it was easy for a lot of superintendents to have their budgets approved, but when it came to French immersion, I mean, a lot of questions were asked. It took about 2 hours to prove to the trustees where the money was going and how it would be well spent. And I did obtain everything that I asked for, but it took 2 hours to get it at a board meeting. So. And by the way, that same evening, I had to be in Toronto on the panel for the oral exams for supervisory officers. So sometimes things pile up, and but we work around it and make it work.
You were perseverant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Then from being superintendent of French immersion with the Board of Education, I went on to superintendent of French language schools with the separate school board in Sudbury. And I worked there for 6 years as a superintendent, and the last 4 years as director of education of the separate school board, and director of education 1998, the year that I retired, as director of education of le Conseil scolaire catholique du district du Nouvelle-Ontario.
That was a lot.
Kept me busy.
It kept you busy, and you were the first director of the brand new Conseil scolaire du Nouvelle-Ontario, catholique du Nouvelle-Ontario.
We have fought so hard to get Francophone school boards run by and for Francophones.
Yes.
And finally, the day came, and all of society is going to benefit from it because the students will be better prepared, better trained, better educated, and they'll profit society. I'm convinced of that and always have been.
You shared with us the many experiences you had and all of your success, and through that, through your journey, we can feel the passion that you have for education, and we can recognize the principles. But I'm going to ask, could you tell us a little bit more about your credo, your passion, your principles?
Education has always been a passion for me. I personally, when I studied, whether it be elementary, secondary, or university level, I was always very at ease with learning new concepts and learning new techniques and gathering more knowledge. And I said, you know, maybe this is what I should do when I decide to enter into a career, is help others as well to learn and to be able to grow as well. The spiritual component of the human being, to me, is extremely important. I've been fortunate to have parents who had values which made us grow and develop fully. Being a Catholic was very special. The spiritual component of one's being helps you to gain inner peace, and it provides you with the energy that is required to work well and to fulfill your mission. I was raised at the École secondaire at Collège du Sacré-Cœur, run by Jesuits, and Jesuits are known to be excellent teachers, excellent educators, and the values that I've learned from them as well, I live with today again. I'm not letting them go. So looking for inner peace and the search of happiness, if you have a spiritual component that is strong, it helps you to move ahead and to meet all the challenges with ease. I'm very happy with the inheritance I was given by my parents in the values that they provided me: respect, having compassion for others. That is important. and the raising the bar.
Raising the bar.
Yeah, not accepting the minimum, but always going beyond the call of duty. It's to me, it's part of life.
Leo, can you speak to me or to us, because everybody that's listening, the rewards and the passion that you lived through all of those experiences?
Along the way, and you know, when you do volunteer work, like now I'm retired, it's my 27th year of retirement. I've been heavily involved in volunteer work. And I've said before, you don't do volunteer work to get recognized.
No.
You do it because it's part of you. And it's one way of saying thank you to all those who have helped you along. And to me, that is very important. I did receive in 2015 the Cross of Honor from Pope Francis. And that was because of my loyalty to the church and my involvement in the community. So that was a recognition that was given to me. The Richelieu Club is one club that I'm a member of the Richelieu, and it's a strong component of my life. I've been with them 47 years now, and we do all kinds of good things for kids, for the youth, for the children. In the last 7 years, I think we've raised and given over $100,000 a year, so that's very helpful to the community. The Horace Villot Award was given to me by all of the Club Richelieus of the milieu, and that's for the promotion of the francophonie and the as well the engagement in the community. I obtained in 2017 the Community Builders Awards from the Northern Life, who organized that for City of Sudbury, because of involvement in education, for excellence in education. I spent 8 years on the boards of Maison McCullough Hospice, which is the Sudbury Hospice.
Yes.
I've been president, chaired most of the committees. The people that work there are absolutely fabulous, incredible. Their compassion. What strikes me the most is the high respect they have for the dignity of the individual. Incredible. And they're called angels. And very often you talk to people who've been there, who've been through the process of end of life, and they call the workers their angels. And to me, it makes sense because the hospice is on the border of Lake Bethel. And Bethel is an Armenian word that means house of God. So you have your angels working there. So it makes sense.
Yes, it does.
I worked as well in helping out a former student who had troubles with WSIB. Spent hours and hours and hours struggling to get justice for him. We even had a lawyer involved, and we did get justice, but it took so much time and so much energy. So that was done as well. So, you know, you get involved because you want to get involved, because people need your help. They need you to
support.
Yeah, for the support.
And I see that giving back to the community is a value that is deep in you, to help out. And what you took or what you had or what was offered to you, now you're giving it back through your volunteer work.
That's the name of the game.
That is really is very much admired in you, Leo, that you never ever stopped. You always keep going and giving your 150% all the time.
But there's a price to pay for that too, along the way, because when you're working, like before my retirement, there's a sacrifice to pay with your family, because you're away from home. And I'm not exaggerating. The last 4 years when I was director of education, with the amalgamation and the increase in the territory and the schools and the numbers, and making up the new board, French language board, I worked 85 hours a week.
I believe it.
On a regular basis. So you're not with family when you do that. So now that I'm retired, then I get back to the family and spend a lot of time with my 3 kids. My wife, who has always supported me 125%, my 3 kids and the 6 grandkids. So they're special to me. and now I spend much more time with them, which makes more sense.
And that's the gifts of life, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
And
I would have grandkids before kids.
that's what you call success, a successful life. What advice would you give to the younger generation?
The younger, be respectful with others at all times. Have compassion for other people. Be open to new learning, because the job that you will get will probably not be the job you'll have for your whole life. Mm-hmm. You might have 3, 4, 5 careers during your life. So be open to new concepts and new learning. Don't limit yourself to material things. Open your heart to the spiritual domain. It gives you inner peace. It gives you strength, energy. Make sure that you take care of your mental state, your physical state, health. Make friends with people that are strong. Make sure you choose the people you want to be with so that you can grow. We talk about freedom sometimes, and when you talk about freedoms, it's not the freedom of doing good or evil. It's the freedom of selecting the best outcome of the good that it can give you.
That's a good philosophy.
Yeah, it is. It is
very much so.
The only philosophy that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Invest in financial security.
Yeah.
I think high schools have a mandate that they should teach the younger generation about financial situations in life. They come out of high school, they don't know what a mortgage is. They don't know what interest is all about, how you can invest. If you're going to borrow money, how do you go about? What is your best choice? They need to know that before the end of grade 12. It would be very helpful. And to develop the values that will make you grow and make you a better person. To me, and becoming an active citizen, being involved, to me, those are advice I think that we can give to the young generation.
That's all great advice. And let's hope that the youth, I'm very thankful for the youth that are working or not working, but have relationship with the grandparents or the parents, and because they get to learn as well through our eyes. Yeah. But for sure, they'll make their own mistakes, and like we did. Yeah. Is there something you would do different in your career?
In my career, I've always said that I had a group of students from École des Sciences, which is a training school for teaching certificate in Sudbury here at Laurentian University. I had a group of 45 graduates that came into my office when I was Director of Education, and I was telling them that if I had a choice, I would start over the same career that I had tomorrow morning. And some of them were surprised because I looked at them. I said, I look at you, some of you will become principals, superintendents, directors of education in this group. But I said, I personally, the experience that I had, I would start tomorrow morning. After the meeting, I had one of the other superintendents who came up to me and said, Leo, are you crazy? I said, no, I'm not crazy. I would redo the same experience that I've had over again, because I've been taken care of, if I can put it this way, yes, by staff, by people around me. They're good people. We worked as a team, and in schools particularly, it's not just the staff, it's the custodians, the people that working in the cafeteria, the secretaries. They're all part of the same team. It takes a team to make things work. Yeah. And I keep telling them all the time, you people are all number one after the students.
And that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. And I can tell that your passion is still there. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap this up?
Well, there's one book that really impressed me when I was doing my master's degree at Ottawa University. It's called The Human Side of Enterprise by Douglas McGregor. It's a book which is directed really to industries, but it applies to schools and boards as well. How the human side of what we do, of enterprise, of everything we do is so important.
Yes.
We tend to forget that we deal with human beings. Some have strengths, some have weaknesses. If they have weakness, we try to improve, but they're human beings, and take them where they are and make them grow. And it's so important to thank them and to show them that they're appreciated, and that goes a long way. So to me, that when you work with people, make sure that you recognize their strengths and that they're so important and they're assets to the school.
Thank you, Leo, for meeting with us today. Words of wisdom, much appreciated.
It's been my pleasure, Nicole. I was happy to be here.